entire fucking life. You've probably heard of socialism or communism. And they say they try to control your entire life. Your whole day is taken away from you. What control do you have over your day now?
Most people have to be chained to a desk for 40 hours a week and they're not allowed to leave.
When you wake up in the morning and you feel like shit and you have to wipe the sleep from your eyes and like look around and be like, why does this have to happen this early in the morning? That's a capitalism.
And it controls everything, like your healthcare, your education. It all comes down to making money, but some things just don't make money. Honestly, ask yourself, how afraid are you of getting an injury and how that could possibly fuck up your life?
Yeah, you're being stopped from skateboarding, breakdancing, doing anything fun, because if you get injured, you're fucked forever. You can't go to work.
And so then you have all these people that say, well, we can make a kinder capitalism, a more conscious capitalism. It isn't gonna fucking happen. We need anarchy, we need socialism, we need communism, we need anything but more capitalism.
But wait, Brett, when you go to the grocery store, you have almost unlimited choice. You can buy 100 different types of cereals.
All made from the same stuff with different graphics on the outside.
All corn. It's basically just a bunch of boxes of corn.
That's capitalism.
It actually treats about 1% of the population like humans, and the rest of us like tools for those superhumans. You don't have any money, your bank account's low? I know where the money is. Jeff Bezos has it, the Waltons have it.
And they took it from us, right?
They took it from us.
We're just getting our money back.
Yeah, your work made that money. You deserve that money. That's your money. The 1% has never decided to do the right thing. That's why we have to take power and just spread it out among the 100% of people that exist. Can you imagine being that sensitive? Like you,
well, that's
like
what
that
they're
is the
PC as hell.
ultimate.
Hey, you know what? This is the freest goddamn country, and it's so free that if you don't stand up, you aren't a free person. And goddamn it, boy, if you don't stand up right now, you ain't free. Because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, I have the freedom to make you feel bad for doing the freedom. Just get up and say you love it. Just get up right now, Copernic. God damn it. It's so free that you can't do it. You have to. It's free because there's only one way to be. That's why it's free. So be that. Damn you. They don't have anything to live. I mean, their kids hate them. They don't have, all their money got stolen by banksters and shit. Healthcare's running through the fucking roof.
Oh my God, have you heard the news? Kids are dying of kratom.
That's not true.
They're injecting it into their veins.
I don't think that's happening.
An ABC Action News exclusive. A mom says a popular herb killed her son.
The most recent death happened in early June. Kratom, also known as metrogenine, was one of 4 drugs blamed for his death.
This was like the devil's drug.
It really is just a green powder that makes people feel better.
Yeah, it's a leaf. It grows from the ground, you smash it up, you make a tea out of it, you throw it down the back of your throat, you eat some capsules, and you feel better, your mind's clear. And most people that use kratom don't have access to healthcare or prescriptions or any of that regular medicine stuff. They get it from local stores or online.
Let's do an example here. You're a young person, you don't understand how all this works, so let me explain this to you. When you get hurt in your older age, let's say you're 34, you work on a roof, you fall off.
Hey everybody, welcome to Street Fight Radio. How you doing? It's Wednesday night, time for a Street Fight in the Basement show tonight. You can find us every single week doing this on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook,
Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to jump in the chat, please do. We love to hear from people as we're doing the show. And there's also a bunch of cool folks that show up every single week to talk about, you know, what we're talking about. So we appreciate everybody that watches the live stream. But of course, if you can't tune into the live stream, you just love the podcast. We've been doing that forever now. Started out in the basement, and it's been 9 years now, going on 10, right? Next year.
Next June, next summer is going to be the summer of Street Fight, baby.
10 years in the game, coming up next year. You can get more of what we do if you want to support the crew and get more content out of us. Head over to patreon.com/streetfightradio, where you can sign up for videos, digital zines, and all kinds of other things, including bonus audio. Brian just dropped the first episode of Holy Boys. Brian Quimby from Street Fight Radio, Tom Sexton from the Trillbillies podcast, coming together to host one of our premium audio endeavors. And look at the what are those people called?
I mean, I've been calling them mega pastors, but we'll just say God carnies.
Televangelists.
Televangelist, yeah. The first episode, I can give a little preview here, actually. Episode 1 dropped the day we're recording this, and it's me, Tom, and Leslie Lee talking about Jimmy Swaggart. Next week, it will be Pastor Carl Lentz with Brett Payne, who was absolutely great on the episode. And
thank you.
Then the next episode is Creflo Dollar with Pretty Bad Lefty from Twitter.
Cool.
Who was also fucking great. These episodes are coming out. I'm really proud of them.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of what these have been so far. And Brett, the Carl Lentz episode was so perfect for Brett. And I'm going to tell you all, before you listen to this, every one of these guys gets me.
Yeah.
For at least a minute before I move on to the next. You know what I mean? Because it's like we're doing them every week, so I spend a bunch of time watching Carl Lentz, and I'm like, I can get down with some of this message. You know what I mean? Like, I get what he's saying, you know? And then you're just like, this is like, he's a carny.
Yeah.
He's like
it's all so vague. That's what makes it easy to get down with, is everything is so vague that you're kind of can make it mean whatever you want to you.
Yeah, and it's like I understand why people get brought in by these guys. Now I will say this: Jimmy Swaggart, not 100% sure why people got super into him, other than charisma, but Creflo Dollar, he's a hard one to buy into in a way, because he's very rich, like very, 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 very rich, and he loves money, and it's the same thing with Carl Lentz. It's like he doesn't look rich when you look. Only the trained eye can tell how rich he is because of the way he dresses. It looks like he wears streetwear and stuff like that, which if you see it, you're like, I mean, oh, that's a neat t-shirt.
Right.
But a lot of people don't know how much that shit costs.
Yeah. Yeah, and even like some of the design, he's like a designer guy too. Like you wear a designer black t-shirt, it's $780, you know, and it's plain black, and it's just cost that much, and people don't understand what, you know, people don't, it looks laid back and casual. You look like a cool slacker.
You'll hear more of this on the episode, but it's like the reason guys like him are dangerous to me, because some of his message is like anti-racism and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's very big into that.
Like, so, and like he'll talk about like white privilege and shit, which is like, that's pretty good, but he is shepherding people into a very conservative lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you have to remember with all these guys.
Yeah, it seems, I mean, that's the thing, is when they go to the public, it seems that's how they maintain their thing. They can go to the public and it seems all very innocent, and then you find out that Carl Lentz doesn't support gay marriage.
Yep.
You know, like that's a problem.
Yeah. Or
that's not good that's not the kind of Christianity that anybody wants to fucking sign up for.
Or that they're working very hard to get people married.
Yeah.
Like when, look, I'm sure some of the people that listen to this show got married when they were 22 or something like that.
Right.
But not a good time to get married.
Yeah.
I just even I knew that.
Especially if you're 22 and you find yourself in the grips of a fucking televangelist church. It's definitely not the time to make those kind of commitments.
I've been with my wife for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get married until we were together for almost 10. Because it was just like, oh no, we were together for longer than 10 because my kid was born. And it was a practical decision, but we both always felt like, and this is weird, this might be a weird thing, but it's like, we're together and we love being together, and if you want to leave, you can leave. You know what I mean? Like, that's always been the deal from the very beginning with me and her, is like, if you don't want to be here, let's not be together. And I promise the same fucking thing. Yeah,
I agree. Me and Eric are the same, where it's like, I'm not going to convince you to fucking love me. It better just come naturally. I don't want to try to make this work. I really don't. I want to try to do other things besides work on the one person that, I'm with, having them, accept me or what, or, for what I do or who I am.
Right. And it was like getting married symbolized not being able to make that split as easy.
Sure.
Which like, for some reason, to me, it felt more powerful when that split could just be like, oh, we're done.
Yeah.
This is it. I mean, we had a kid when we were 20, I don't know, maybe 28 or something like that. But she was in my wedding. But like, I used to always think like, I don't think it's necessary that we get married.
Unless you want some health care, though.
That's how it happened.
Yeah, that's what it takes.
Because that was when I lost my job, and Katie was just like, one time when we were like 23, I think it was. I was such a loser at the time. We were living together at this time, but not really. Like, she snuck me into her parents' house every night, and I slept in her room and then left after everybody went to work. And at that time, like, what was I getting at with that? Where was I?
You were talking about I was at 23 something about, I'm guessing she asked you to marry you or something.
She asked me to marry her. We were laying in bed. And we had just got home, and we were just, like, hanging out, and she was, like, really drunk, and she was like, Brian, let's get married. Let's just fucking do it. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you thinking about this now? And she's like, you can get insurance, which I already had insurance, but I think I did just lose insurance. And she's like, you'll have insurance, and we can file our taxes together. And we should just do it now. Let's just fucking do it. And then the next morning when she got up, I was like, you asked me to marry you last night. And she's like, I was very drunk. So we waited. And like,
yeah, that's good. You should double check in the morning after everything's settled.
Yeah. And like, it's just like, we never bought a house. And I think part of it was, when I was there when everybody was buying houses. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like the mortgage, the thing that led to the mortgage crisis. I was an adult.
Variable rate mortgages. You could get, walk to any shop in town, zero money down, and you get a mortgage.
My sister got a house out of that deal and ended up getting foreclosed on.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. That I know as well.
And
22-year-olds that were just signed on the dotted line, and their mortgage, ended up being 2 times the amount after a few years.
I know, and we were just like, I remember telling my sister when they bought the house that it was a stupid idea. I was like, this is like a really bad decision. But when a guy that makes almost exclusively bad decisions tells you you're making a bad decision.
That's true.
of
The boy who cried wolf situation.
yeah,
But
yeah.
actually, you're right though. Like, because you're the canary in the coal mine at that point. Because you're like, I exclusively make bad decisions. Like, this is this. But I don't know. It's hard to say.
Because if at that point in my life I had said like, this is a bad decision, you would probably like want to do the opposite of that.
Sure.
I was just right.
One time.
Yeah, like basically, and this is my attitude. This is who I am as a person. I was right when it came to being negative about something, because I'm automatically negative about fucking everything.
Sure.
You know, and so there would be things that would happen that people would be getting into and doing. The mortgage thing is the thing where I was just like,
No, you shouldn't take a house if you don't have enough to pay for it. I mean, you should be putting money down on that thing.
yeah, or I mean, they both had really good jobs at the time, but I had actually felt like when they bought the house, it was kind of like, you're stuck in the job now. Like, this is your job now, and this is all you're gonna do.
Yeah. So
I
you
guess
weren't
is the way
even
I thought
smart
about
about
it.
it. Yeah, you
No.
were just saying like, no, man, you don't want a house, man. But it was just really, it's actually just a bad idea to buy a house for $0 down, because they're fucking they're going to destroy you.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, it's one of, I mean, that was a weird time, dude.
It was. There was a lot of people that did that.
But me and Katie didn't buy a house. We didn't even try. We never even considered it.
Yeah, I was not in a good place. Otherwise, I would have signed up for that
You would
fucking
have bought a
thing.
house.
Yeah.
You would have fucking bought a house. You're lucky almost that you were doing your struggle time.
Yeah.
My doctor keeps, my therapist keeps talking about my struggle time. How he thinks it like really profoundly affected my brain chemistry.
Yeah. No, it's right.
Where he's just like, man, that the whole time you were, it seems like you will always feel broke.
Well,
Which is interesting, because I do always feel. He's like, even because I explained to him, like, even when I have money, I feel like somebody's gonna take it away tomorrow. Like, oh, you can't have that money.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's the thing too, is like you were kicked out on your own without any sort of backup plan. So that does create things where in your mind you just are saying like, if this doesn't go well, I'm back to like stealing to get by. Like if this doesn't go well, I'm going to have to do just fucking petty crime. Like I'm going to be kicked right back down. And there isn't like, I mean, you have a network of people now that do support and love you and all of that stuff, but you can't get it out of your mind that they can easily turn their back on you when you're the most in need, just because you've had that happen to you before. And so it's very easy to, you know, it's very easy to think that of everybody. Like, well, I'm just going to be on my own, actually, if I go broke, and no one gives a shit.
Well, and I also feel a strange job security that I've never felt in my life. Like, I know that sounds weird considering what we do, but I like have faith in my craft, I guess, now, in a way that like, no matter what happens, I can probably keep doing something like this now.
Yeah.
And so I never felt that way doing anything else. Like, I guess it's probably because this depends on me.
Yeah.
You know, like a thing where it's not up to one other person who might not like me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's interesting. It's interesting to hear about. It's interesting to hear about like that, what this does to people. What's the word? What that kind of life does to people.
Yeah, the trauma it leaves behind.
The trauma.
The trauma of not having money, and you know, and being low to the point where, you know, you had to rely on other people for charity, or you were couch surfing, or you just woke up every single day and had no idea what tomorrow was going to look like, and it felt like it was not going to be any better. You know.
So
the other thing I want to say though is about your therapy is what cracks me up, and like friendship is putting up with like the worst of people. Like what you were talking about with the relationship with Katie is the same. It's like, I'm going to be me, you're going to be you. Like that's the deal here. I'm not going to change in any sort of drastic way. for you. You just have to put up with me.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about you. But at the same time, I have been on the sidelines for, a decade and just wishing to God that you could find a way out of your anxiety. Like when you're on the sidelines and I'm like rooting for you, and it can be a lot to deal with, but I accept it and I'm fine with it. When you sent those texts about like the way that the way that your therapist broke down your spiral, I was just ecstatic. Like I was just so excited that somebody was able to get you into that headspace and make you think of it differently, because that's really what I want more than anything.
Right. So I am, I'm, this wasn't like a private thing, but I'll explain what happened. We got the stimulus check. And for the past, actually, when we moved to Grandview, I don't know how many years ago it was, but over a decade, 16 years ago, we moved out here, okay? And the apartment we got was 2 bedrooms, and one of the bedrooms was going to be my office. I don't know why I felt I needed an office at that time.
Sure.
But I just felt like I needed an office. And a month before we were about to move into the place, Katie got pregnant. So I lost that office. Like, I didn't have it. 16 years later, I'm making more money. And I paid all my bills up. And I got that stimulus check. And I said, I want a studio at my house that works. That's not just me sitting on my couch and making everybody else go into their bedrooms while I record.
Yeah.
I want something that works at my house. And I bought all the stuff to put this thing together the way I want it to look. And then here's what happened. Okay? It's an 8-step process, but this is what happened that night.
After you bought everything, and did you set it up?
I hadn't set it up yet because I got it shipped, but
Okay.
I did buy everything.
So this was after pulling the trigger on the payment.
Yeah, it was probably 15 minutes after. So for 15 minutes, I was like really happy.
You're like, cha-ching, I
was
did
like,
it.
I did it. I got a studio. Like I have a fucking, I'll have a room that's mine where I can do my work and will make my podcasting at home easier and shit like that. This is, to me, for about 20 minutes, felt like a practical and really good purchase. I can write it off next year, so there's also that. And like 20 minutes after that, I checked my bank account and watched
To
the
see
money
how
come out.
Yeah, to see how much came out. How much you knew you were spending it, but then now you're watching it leave for good.
And then an hour after that, I checked it again. And then an hour after that, I checked it again. And when I talked to my therapist, he said, how many times do you think you've checked it between making the purchase, which was the day before therapy, and that time? And I know I'd checked it 10 times. I might have checked it 15 times.
Sure.
Like, I check my bank account when I'm stressed about money, And even in the end, I have more than I ever, in my life, like I have more security money-wise than I ever have in my life right now. So then here's what happens. This is the 8-step process of an anxiety attack for me. I have the money to make a studio now.
That's your first thought?
Yep. Number 2, Katie will have an office to actually work in because she's been having to work in the living room. She would like to use 2 monitors and bought 2 office chairs.
Dude,
and she gets half the desk.
Working from home on the couch will ruin your back. Like you need to get paid out some sort of healthcare dollars if you're working from the couch, because it won't last.
Yeah.
You need a fucking office chair to sit in.
So we got chairs and she gets half the table so she can have 2 monitors. Free. That was not cheap.
It's true. So you found a little nugget of truth.
So we're rolling into it now.
Boy, oh boy, I did it. And that was not cheap. You're not.
That's where it
undone.
has become not a positive.
Right.
And it has now become all about the fact that
cost.
it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Number 4, what if I bought the wrong stuff?
Done it before, right?
I mean, everybody's done that before.
Yeah, we've blown tons of money in our lives.
Yeah.
And been like, oh, fuck, this isn't the right thing. You take it out of the box and you set it up and you're like, oh, this isn't the right thing.
Yep. Number 5. I probably shouldn't have spent that much. Which, by the way, I had to furnish a room, put a whole new computer in there, buy mics, mic stands, all this stuff. Like, I needed all that stuff. So I had to spend that much. I went relatively cheap on the computer because I don't need much from a computer, and I already have a laptop. So I was like, okay, I probably shouldn't have spent that much. You know, we will hold some back, pay for some later. But the thing is, later I'm not going to have the money to make this happen. Right?
And like, what is the point of making a studio that is 5/8 done?
Yeah. That's how I feel.
I spent less money, but now I don't have the stuff I need to get this accomplished.
Yeah. Okay, so here comes number 6. Katie is probably disappointed in me.
No.
Which is...
You think she's checking the bank account just as much as you are?
She doesn't even know how to check the bank account. She never checks it.
Yeah.
I just tell her how much we have.
Yeah.
And, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
But now we're leading into now... I have disappointed my wife.
She's mad that you had enough money to renovate the fucking 3rd room into an office. Now she's pissed about it.
Yeah.
God damn it. Now I've got a workspace. Now I've got 2 monitors. I hate this. I hate it that now I can't work on the couch anymore.
Yeah. Katie's very disappointed.
Yeah.
Number 7. I'm going to go broke. Which was...
Yeah. I mean, spending money will make you go broke.
Yeah, I know. But I'm not going broke right now.
No. Yeah.
Pretty good spot. 8, I'm going to get really sick and die.
Oh, really?
And then I just laid in bed and flipped out about this.
So,
for like,
just imagine
all night. I couldn't calm down. I felt bad when I got here. I did it last Wednesday. I felt bad. I told you, I feel like shit. This is the first thing I said when I got here.
So you just imagine yourself like in your coffin watching up above and being like, man, I shouldn't have bought that shit.
Yes.
Why did I buy that? That's what killed me. I was stupid enough to get this office and then I got cancer.
Yeah. That is like how... everything. That's how all
it's irrational.
My thought processes go. That's how like when we sold out shows in New York.
You were like, I'm gonna
left, and then I'm like,
I'm probably gonna sick and die.
Well, that's the very final thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there's also negative.
Yeah.
But I'm not home. Katie's probably pissed that I'm out. She probably thinks I'm partying and doing all this stuff. You know, I bought this on the road and I shouldn't have spent that money because they need money at home and stuff like that. Like that feeling happens. That is how like everything that hits me as a person, that's how it's received and that's how I internalize it, and then that's how I have panic attacks every single night.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
All roads lead to that.
And if I'm gonna get sick and die, that's a corona thing. That hasn't been there forever. It just usually ends with I'm going to be broke.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't have health scare stuff, you know?
You have before.
In my past.
But not anymore?
It doesn't cause me panic attacks.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I haven't had a panic attack in 10 years until corona. But I've had heavy low hum of anxiety for the whole time, for my whole life. And my anxiety, like, isn't, like, it's weird because, like, you think you can beat it with positive achievements, but I never feel good about my achievements. The other thing I was told,
that's not good advice.
The other thing that I was told that made me feel really good was that, like, your achievement, like, if you're doing things to spite people, and because that's how every every impulse I have is to be like, I can fucking do this. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like with college. That was like me, because my dad used to always say shit like, you just weren't like really good at school. So I went and graduated college.
Well, actually, I just saw a clip from Steve Martin, and he said somebody looked at him and said, "You're a really strong writer. You're never going to make it as a stand-up comedian." And he says now that he looks at it, he was like, that was the permission that he needed. Like, he needed somebody to prove wrong. He needed a villain, and that was for him to be like, all right, I'm not going to write. I'm going to become the biggest stand-up instead.
But it can lead to an emptiness when it happens, because the people that don't really support you or don't really understand what you do or care that much about what you do, those people are never going to give you the thing. So you have to figure out a way to like,
it's all with you.
Yeah, I need to figure out like a way to not think like,
you have to get satisfaction from things without the approval of others, or without somebody else like
without choosing somebody that would never fucking say anything positive. Like, I'm choosing like my dad, who is somebody, my dad would never say, I really like what you do and I'm proud of what you've done, and you make some pretty interesting art.
Yeah.
My dad has never seen a minute of what I do, and he doesn't give a shit about it at all, you know?
Yeah.
So, but it is weird that we're wired that way.
Not all of us. I mean, you're wired that way.
Yeah, I'm wired in a very negative way. But I wanted to talk about, before we got into that, we were talking about like the trauma people have from being broke.
Yeah.
You know? And the Federal Trade Commissioner, Christine Wilson, was, I don't know what she was doing. It's just a clip. I got this from Sandeep Vaheesan. I actually got it from Sam Knight. But and she's writing this paper, and she credits J.D. Vance with like a quote. And like, I want to read this quote because I think me and you will have I know I have strong feelings about it. In the memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, author J.D. Vance described the value of alternative financing programs for credit-challenged consumers like himself and his family. While attending the Ohio State University, Vance worked as a staffer in the Ohio State Senate as restrictions on payday lending were debated. Vance observed that the senators and policy staff debating the bill had little appreciation for the role of payday lenders in the shadow economy that people like me occupied, and Described an instance in which a payday loan enabled him to make a rent payment on time. Those payday lending is like, this guy's defending predatory lending, right? Like, this is like, I mean, the loop. I
don't think he's. Yeah, I mean, I think he's right though. In a weird way, like a bunch of rich people saying, "Let's get rid of payday advance loans." Like at a certain time in my life, that would have fucking ruined me.
I agree with that, but like, they're still not like a pillar of the community. They're taking advantage of people that can't afford it.
Yeah, they're a damnation of like the entire fucking working system. I mean, they're only there to make money off of people that got in a bind one time.
Yes.
I mean, that's really what it is. You need $500 once, right?
Yes.
That's kind of the shitty thing too, when he's talking about paying his rent, because how the fuck did you borrow enough to pay your rent and then have enough the next month? Because there's not enough money coming in.
Yeah.
Every time I ever had to, I would write for $500 to get my car fixed, and then I would have to go in 2 weeks and give them a check that was written out for $575. Now, I never planned. I could not take a $600 hit on my paycheck. No possible way.
Impossible, yeah.
So you could write the next day for $500 and get another payday advance. Essentially, you're just paying $75 every single 2 weeks to rent your money back or whatever it is.
Also, in a lot of cases, you're paying that money. I don't know if they still do this, but they also will pay your bills for some money too, right? So people that can't get a bank account can come in there.
No, there's
and
plenty
hand
of
them
that.
cash, and they'll pay your electric bill, but they'll take a little bit off the fucking top.
Yeah,
for that too.
It's also that's one of the things too is they do the wire transfer when it comes to gas and electric bills. So you're in there, and then you're in a bind, and then as soon as you take the money, like you're stuck.
Yeah, and I know I posted this on Twitter, but one of the accomplishments that I had for the period of my life where I was as broke as I've ever been, when I was at sort of the bottom level of like, I basically financially like rock bottom, you know. I would go to the payday event, just like Brett said. I would go to the payday events place every 2 weeks and trade this $500 for $575, and then come in the next day, because you couldn't write them 2 days. You had to do it saying, and come in the next day.
You couldn't write the same day.
Yeah,
it was
that's probably the law actually that they were putting in the books, because when JD Vance was there, because I remember that.
The other wall that they did though, well, what year was this?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I guess I could look it up.
No, it's fine. I guess they wrote him recently. I don't know when he did it or not, but there was also a time when it went, you could write for 800.
Yeah.
It went from 500 to 800.
They're up to 1,000 now.
They are?
Yeah, let me look. But
I got to the point where when they said you can write for 800, I was like, no. I like this little $500 deal. You charge me $150 a fucking month because I was desperate two or 3 years ago. Let's just keep that rolling. I don't want to get deeper in debt with you.
Right. These businesses, I mean, I guess you could say I understand, right, that there is a need for people to be able to get short-term loans.
Right.
But I also feel like taxes are kind of a community pot where, like, maybe if somebody needs a short-term loan to get their car fixed, we just pay for that.
Yeah.
Somehow.
No, I agree.
I think if I'm paying taxes, I don't want people like go. I'm trying to think of the word, like just siphoning money off of the people that need it more than anybody else. And I know people. I mean, like, I knew people that got like the dream sort of blue collar job, you know, the cable guy, the electric guy, the warehouse guy, right? Like, I knew people who ended up getting that job, and still, like, you get into a bind.
I grew up in them, man. I mean, like, every Friday, my dad worked 410s, and Fridays we would go to CheckSmart, and then we would go to the arcade, like every fucking Friday.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I guess I said that wrong. It's just a matter of, like, it's stupid, in, like, the Hillbilly Elegy is such an asshole in a way where he is able to prevent all of the rich people that he's around from actually engaging with what the life of a payday advance person is. He provides some sort of protection where he's like, you know what? I had one time. It was actually kind of beneficial. You know, like, it helped me out on my rent one time.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but there's a lot of other people that are doing that week to week thing. Honestly, here's what I think. I feel there should be a cap on how long you can do it. I've always said the easiest way to solve this is that if I'm paying $150 a month for the same $500 I borrowed, can I do this for just 6 months? Like, could I pay $150 for 6 months and then you just be fucking done with it and you call it over with, right?
Yeah.
There's no decency. They are the worst.
Yeah. And they just take so fucking much. I'm still trying. You gotta, like, apply to get the...
Well, when I was... Yeah, the online ones were up to 1,000 when I was doing it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I remember right near the end. I remember the 800, but for some reason I also remember seeing like $1,000.
You could get 1,000 online. I remember being at my job and on break getting on the phone with like some sort of payday advance customer service to get an online payday advance loan. That motherfucker I never paid back.
Yeah, in the 2 years, in the year I was driving for Lyft, I got halfway through a bunch of those payday advance loans.
Yeah.
The online Montel Williams ones. But it's just like this guy being able to come out and speak. He trades on his
I've been there.
experience growing up.
It's bullshit though. It's like, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But I think that like he takes these lessons where like I feel like he is like they deserve this.
It does. I mean, it comes off as like he's an outsider. It totally comes off like he was never a part of this, and that like he never identified with his fucking grandma and his mom and all these relatives of his. He never once saw the human side of this. Mm-hmm. I was fucking ecstatic when I went to get my second payday advance loan, and they were like, "You can have the money." That did feel good.
Yeah. And it felt good when you paid it off. It
Yes.
felt like that was one of the things I wanted to say. Like, you know, when I paid it off, it felt like a major, great accomplishment. And I felt like really good. And when I got, when I paid off my last payday advance, I like felt like I accomplished something, but I did not. I just gave a company a bunch of money.
Yeah. But I mean, he's trading on he's trading on that though, which sucks because you're cutting the story short. Like, this person was ecstatic that they got the money. You're right, Mr. JD Vance, but you have to play it out on what this type of lending does in the way that it ruins a lot of people's lives and takes. Staying $75 from someone that's making $10 an hour is a huge dip in fucking income. It's absolutely insane.
I did it for 5 years.
I did
maybe
too.
More,
I did it forever. I mean, I can't believe that it's so weird to think about it, but I had 2 of them going. Like I would go. Sometimes there was a couple 24-hour locations that I would have to go to when they
Sawmill, baby.
Yes. When they started making us work mandatory overtime and shit, I would get out of work at 1 a.m. with my paycheck and be like, there has to be money in there tomorrow or I'm fucked over. You know?
Yes. Yeah. And it's just like when you're talking about something like this, the people that get them aren't particularly like proud that they get them or anything either. They're like, I was hiding it from everybody but my wife.
Yeah.
Basically, I had another buddy that we both know together. One of our good friends who sometimes we would go together to get our payday advances.
That's the other thing about getting payday advances is they make you put down 3 real phone numbers. Like, they'll check the phone numbers.
Yeah.
And so I had my mom, which she did paydays all the time. She didn't care. I had my girlfriend, which was like great cover because she didn't care. And then the third was my buddy. And I remember him saying a few years later, he was like, man, they were hounding the shit out of me about those payday advance loans that you didn't pay. And I eventually just got on the phone and said, leave me the fuck alone. I don't know who the fuck you're talking about. But they had a good laugh out of it. They appreciated it.
Yeah, I've gotten calls for relatives that have been...
Put you down?
They put me down, but they didn't...
Let you know?
Yeah.
You gotta let somebody know when you put their name down.
I know. I did. I used my sister and her husband and... Fuck, I don't remember who the other... I'm like maybe one of Katie's sisters we used.
3 is tough because 3 is like you can always get your mom, right? Most of us can get...
I wouldn't have wanted to.
Most people can get a mom or a dad. Most people can get like a spouse person. That third one is like has to be your homie. It has to be like your BFF. Somebody that isn't like I know you feel terrible about it. That's really all it comes down to was like I had to pick the person that I was willing to say, this is what I'm doing right now. Yeah. Like, I don't have enough money to fucking live.
I mean,
and that's stupid that he ever felt bad about it. I mean, I spent years feeling bad about every Friday doing that.
Yeah, I was embarrassed that I had to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I would be embarrassed.
And I worked my fucking ass off. I was not a loser. Like, these things are for people with jobs. These are like payday advance loans are people that have steady income. You can't just walk in and get $500 handed to you. They're taking advantage of, you know, all of the people that make less than $15 an hour and need and have a crisis in their life.
Yes.
They're going after them and making an incredible amount of money off of it. And we feel bad about it. Like it's the genesis of Street Fight, like we said before, that to feel bad about needing help or working 60 hours a week and still not having enough to pay the bills.
I mean, the payday advance thing is so important to this show in that, like, and I wish we got more calls about it, to tell you the truth. Cause, well, I mean, I hope people aren't doing it, but I would love to hear people's stories of getting out of it and stuff like that, or what they're dealing with doing it. But, like, me and Brett's bond really happened in the period where, like, he was the first person I ever talked to about these payday advances and the way to pay your bills when you're broke. This one can go this month and then I'll just pay the fee to make sure it doesn't get disconnected next month, sort of thing. And when me and you talked about that, we had like these like frank conversations. But I think we even did a podcast about it, and I was just like, this dude knows what I've been through. Like, you're one of the first people I've met that was candid about that period of your life.
Yeah.
And I was still sort of I was like, barely out of it when me and you started hanging out. But, like, I think there has to be a better fucking solution.
Yeah, we can't have them.
Like, these things need to go away. And I just think it's like such an indefensible position to even defend them in a way.
It is.
The only thing I say is if they outlawed them tomorrow, we would have to, like, fucking take whatever profits they have and split it among the people.
It'd be a bailout.
That
you have to write off everybody that owes. If they shut them down and everybody that owed got written off.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But crime would go up because people still need $400 in a pinch.
Well, that is the other thing. There has to be some way that, like, maybe you can go to
have enough to
an
live.
Office and have enough.
That's all it is. That's really what it comes down to, because JD Vance is talking about it as if some sort of, like, retiree finds themselves in a bind, as if they don't have tens of thousands of dollars in credit card debt that's absolutely available to them.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know, the people that are in the suits, the people that are doing spreadsheets, they don't have to deal with this. This is exclusively a problem of the essential workers, as we call them now. This is all essential worker problems.
I would say that...
How do you make ends meet when your check is less than $400 a fucking week?
Well, I would also say that these businesses victimize people who even, like, work at, like, the lowest levels of the big employer in town. Like, maybe if somebody worked at Nationwide Insurance and they
call center
weren't even being paid.
That's right. I mean, it's a problem for people that make less than $15 an hour. Like, it really is exclusive to that. And the issue is that we are not paying enough money for people to live. We could get rid of this problem if people had enough to get by. It would be very easy.
Or we lowered the burden on them. Even, like, if you're gonna pay people shit wages, maybe don't make them pay for electricity and fucking gas and these, like, and internet and stuff. Maybe make those a human right.
Yeah.
Which, if you're in the richest country in the world, that shouldn't be all that hard to do.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, it's something I've always been surprised we don't hear as much about. But I also understand that, like, people don't like to talk about it. And there was a period of time where, like, I didn't like to talk about it because, like, I thought it would just lead me back to it. Like, it was this weird, like, kind of karmic thing. Whereas like if I talk about this, I'm gonna be back at CheckSmart writing a check. You know, one thing I was proud of was that me and my wife didn't both write, which was like only I wrote.
That is pretty good.
She wrote.
That's a good restraint.
Yeah. We didn't ever go in and get 2 checks. Which
I got 2 checks. I got 2 checks.
Yeah. I mean, like I mean this
hundreds.
Shit.
I mean, when you say it out loud, I mean they just made hundreds of dollars a month. Not like it's not interest where it's like, oh, you borrowed money from us. It's 1%.
Yeah.
It's $10 a month for the next fucking forever until you pay it off. $150 a month.
Yeah,
on my checks.
$150 a month.
And then then having a partner dip in, and they're also spending $100 or more a month. We're spending a whole paycheck trying to just not pay back the money that we needed 3 years ago.
Yeah, I was making like $700 and something every 2 weeks at the time, and it was just like, fucking, if we hadn't fallen into that habit, like, we would have probably gotten our shit together a lot quicker. I think it like slowed our development towards getting our shit together for a really long time. It does so much damage. Like, it does so much damage to the way you see the world in your life, and like,
but it provides a ritual though.
Yeah, I also think like the JD Vance thing of like, they romanticize this thing as though it's like this community service that's here for the people, and we can't get rid of it. And like, he gets to use that because he's done it, because he grew up in that kind of thing.
But he didn't show up.
He gets to use that to make the conservative argument that everything's fine.
Yeah. Wait until you walk into one of those places and they say, "Hi, Brett, are you writing again today?"
Yeah.
Like that does not feel good. That's nothing to be proud of.
Yeah.
Not proud. I mean, no, I don't know. It's a completely different experience than what JD Vance is trying to sell. Like, he presents this idea as it's somebody that you can borrow $500 from if you fucking need it. And instead of just, it's the same people going over and over over and over again because they needed $500 at one point in their life.
Yeah.
That's the conversation we don't have about those places.
Yeah.
And that's what they fail to miss. And like, that's what he sucks.
Yeah, so that was the JD Vance portion of the show. I never read the book, but he's got a movie coming out, and like, it fucking sucks to me that the guy that made it out, which who knows how much of like his story or whatever, or his personal like adult life was like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But I know that like, he's the guy that made it out and gets to define the narrative of everything's okay, I survived, I got through.
Yeah, tell him like, oh no, they're used to it. They're used to dysfunction. They love it. Poor people just love, they wouldn't have anything to do on a Friday if you didn't have a payday advance center for them to grow up. To go to. They would just get drunk or something,
Yeah.
That's a Freudian slip.
What?
That was a Freudian slip to say grow up, because I grew up in those fucking places.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry. Actually, so Erica, my wife, did read Hillbilly Elegy because she is tapped into some like liberal type fucking news streams. Like, she's
NPR shit.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't complain. Like, she knows where I'm at, and like, I don't think that it's brainwashing. Once again, I don't think that she's brainwashed. And she started listening to this audiobook. She does audiobooks. And I heard Hillbilly Elegy. I didn't know, I had never read it before.
Yeah.
But as soon as it was playing on her phone, I was like, "Are you listening to Hillbilly Elegy?" And she was like, "Oh, you know this book?" And I was like, "Yeah, what do you think about it?" And she was like, "The guy seems like an asshole, because I went through a lot of these same situations, and he seems to blame the people that were involved in them. She like that's me simplifying it, but like when we talked about it, she was like, this guy's an asshole because he thinks that like these people are just like that and they aren't doing it out of like need or desperation. Yeah. And it just comes off as this thing like I made it through. And she's somebody that made it out of it too. She's somebody that, she's somebody that did make it out of that kind of stuff too. She actually worked as a manager at a payday advance loan.
For a while. No, your wife went through a lot of shit, I've had conversations with her where she said things that I've very much related to in the same way that I relate to you.
Yeah.
Like I really respect her. It's one of those things that's like your life feels so devoid of opportunity at a point in your life. I mean, I don't know if everybody feels like this, but when you're a person that doesn't have a backup plan, you don't have your parents' house to move back into, you don't have a grandma to ask for money, you don't have any of this stuff.
Right. There, your parents don't have enough to pay for you to be a fuck up.
Yes.
And here you find yourself as a fuck up. And you have depression and you have anxiety and you have all of these things and you have no health care and you have no dental care and you have nothing. And you do feel like it's all because you're just born bad or something.
Yes. You're born a fuck up. Or you're just like, you're not smart enough and you're never going to be able to,
what's wrong with me?
You even do? I'm not I'm not the kind of guy that gets to go on the radio.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the kind of guy that gets a computer programming job and makes $100,000 a year at, or whatever, $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
Like, you just think of yourself as this, I'm at my full potential, and my full potential is not enough for this world.
And also, but no, and what she got right is that it feels dead end. Everything feels like a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
You understand that other people have these amazing things that are happening in their life, but your family sucks ass and your family isn't going to support you to do your dream job, and they set you up to be negative as fuck about everything.
Yeah.
And you have 5 or 6 fucking siblings that have worse problems than you.
Yes.
And you make it out of this type of situation, and to like the JD Vance thing, it just completely ruins it because he missed it. Like, he just decided to idolize himself instead of having humanity with everybody else that was involved with those situations. Like, that survivor bias is just despicable.
Well, and people love him. Like, the NPR type people love it because, there are a lot of people who maybe haven't gone through this listening to NPR. I didn't even know NPR was a thing until like 2006 or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
and they maybe don't have a lot of contact with people. I mean, I know that like Scott Horsley he's an NPR guy.
Who's that?
I'm just looking at an NPR story and his name's Scott Horsley, so the NPR heads will pop from that. You know what I mean? Like, he's never met somebody like me. And look, now at this point, maybe there's a chance that I could have met him and talked to him, but then it doesn't mean anything coming out of my mouth because like I'm not in that situation anymore. But he doesn't talk to anybody like me when I was 30 years old.
Yeah.
When I was fucking 24. Like these people have never been in contact. So they think that this guy has been in contact with these people. And that he's the guy that he wears a bow tie so that like they can talk to the guy with the bow tie who has written a payday advance.
Yeah.
And he can relay the story. And his story, when he relays it, is these people can't handle they can't handle responsibility. They're irresponsible people, and they will never do the right thing, and they would have never done the right thing because it's not in their character.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
No, it's right on the money. Really is. Like it's just infuriating because he doesn't represent us at all. Because the fucking broke people that I know that do make something of themselves break their backs doing charity work and doing extra time and spending every second of their lives helping out the people around them. And this motherfucker, you know, has the audacity to turn his back on his whole family and call them pieces of shit and say, you know, I'm the successful one, and I get to reap the rewards of that now.
Like dedicating my life.
He's using it as like, yeah, he's using it as like contrast of like, I came from nothing and now I'm fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Everybody I know that made it out has come to more my way of thinking, where it's like, I don't think anybody should have to go through this.
Yeah.
I don't think this should happen to another human being for the rest of time, and I will do everything I can to make sure that I'm advocating for people not having to live like this.
Yeah, I would say I've managed my anxiety in a way where I don't have the same going broke. Like, I've been through the going broke thing, but now I've just come to understand that I'm not in that same lifestyle, and I don't have to worry about it the way that I did before. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I don't believe nobody else should ever have to fucking deal with payday advance loans, or especially working. Like we said, these are working people we're talking about.
People who make, you know, there's probably, if you work in an office, there's probably a few people. If you work in a big office, there's probably a few people that you work with that get payday advances. That's just the way it is. It's like almost like they think you don't. It's almost like everybody thinks you don't deserve to like actually get to live until you have somehow stepped on somebody's head and gotten to the third level up at any business, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to him. It's like you said, like, well, that's their punishment for being poor. Like, we want to make poor like a very bad lifestyle. We want to make it something that like isn't appealing. And so we're successful at that. We're doing a good job at that, right?
Yeah. That is everybody. It's just I wish people understood this more. I wish people talked about this stuff more and not in a way that J.D. Vance talks about it.
I mean, it's the same thing with like fucking coronavirus. Like, we should have experts talk about this stuff. We should have people that actually did payday advance loans talking about it.
Yes.
Like, there's no reason to like have somebody pontificate about these things that hasn't lived the goddamn life.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got this story. We can do a few more things before we get out of here. I got this story from Kentucky that NPR posted, which is Scott Horsley, actually, from NPR posted. And I'm going to read it, and it is done in NPR. It's written in NPR voice, so there's nothing I can do about that. Okay?
Well, clean up your trash mouth. Sit up straight so that you have your everything is in line. I want to hear
this a shot. Let me give this a shot.
Do your best diction on this.
$600 per week. That's what the federal government is now offering to people who've lost their jobs because of the coronavirus. For many workers and employers, that money is a godsend, a way to keep food on the table while also cutting payroll costs. But the extra money can create some awkward situations. Then, like, some music plays. And then, okay.
Is that okay?
That's the kind of music they play on NPR, I think.
You're too soloist on that. I always think of just like a little bit of anxious piano, like bum 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 bum. Like, whenever they start doing that, like when they start building, when someone starts talking and they do the bump 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 on the piano, you're like, oh fuck, this is about to go off the rails.
That's the thing. Like, this is why we could never be on NPR, because if I was doing this and I wanted to add some music to it, I would just had somebody shred
a riff. You're like, that creates a problem for people.
When the real important part of the story's going on, it's just like this.
Yes, in the background.
Yeah. the kind of fucking radio I want to do.
A cafe owner in Kentucky found out.
And just like a guy going, yeah.
Yeah. Like when it hits hard?
Yeah, like when it starts hitting hard, you got to get in like a hell or a Damage Incorporated. That's all would play on my show.
If NPR bought the rights to the Damage Incorporated, that'd be cool.
Listen. I mean, them motherfuckers on NPR, like they look down at people who listen to like the Blitz because they're like Monster Energy drink and stuff like that. And it's like, I turn that shit on and they're like 5-hour energy drink. They're selling the same
NPR.
shit to them that the Blitz is selling to their listeners.
NPR is trash. Anybody that tries to sell you 5-hour energy is not your fucking friend.
I know. We basically have, okay. But the extra money can create some awkward situations. Some businesses that want to keep their doors open say it's hard to do so when employees can make more money by staying at home. We basically have this situation where it would be a logical choice for a lot of people to be unemployed, said Sky Marietta, who opened a coffee shop along with her husband Jeff last year in Harlan, Kentucky. Their goal was to provide good coffee, good internet service, and some opportunity in a community that has been starved of all three. If you're paying these motherfuckers, if you're not paying these people $600 a week at least, then you don't need people. Just run your own fucking store.
What? I mean, I hate every single person that thinks coffee is going to save anybody.
They're
we
just
don't
saying
fucking
they
need
want to
it.
hire people.
It's not for
You know what I'm
everybody.
saying? No, but their reason for saying that they wanted to open it up and the opportunity,
Yeah, right. They're
was
gonna.
that they wanted to they were going to have employees.
Yeah, we're
that
gonna have
they
a
were gonna
morning
pay.
person and a night person.
I know they're going to hire 4 people.
We're bringing a lot of prosperity to this community.
Why don't you two? Why doesn't Sky Marietta and whoever else, her partner, why don't they just run?
Yeah,
the
just
thing?
fucking yeah.
You wanted to make the coffee, you know?
Yeah, we wouldn't hire somebody else to do the podcasting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just going to hire a couple of guys to come in and do the show next week.
Yeah.
You
I have
know?
others. I have emails to answer. I can't just get out there and make the coffee.
People want their fucking street fight, and we'll give it to them, but with 2 other guys whose names start with B.
Yeah, we're gonna have like a turnover rate of about 80%. You know, every 3 to 4 months. Before somebody can get full benefits, that's when we'll decide whether we hire them or fire them.
Yeah.
That's when the real decision is made. Like, we've done 90 days with this fucking person. Can we do it again?
By the way, this fucking person hiring somebody at a
Whenever you think you're fucking hiring people as charity or benevolent, like, get out of here.
Get out.
You're a monster. You're like, I wish we had like ancient, I wish we could make like new legends and myths and lore. We need to come up with some sort of like interdimensional demon for what this person is. For somebody that calls employment like charity.
Opportunity. By the way, I mean
opportunity. That's a great one.
Yeah, they get opportunity.
Opportunity always sometimes presents itself in a pair of work boots.
Yeah.
Right? It does.
A smock. Opportunity presents itself in a smock.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting also that like community in a community that has been starved of all three. It's like, well, if there's like not a lot of jobs or money in the city, then people aren't gonna buy your $4 coffee.
No.
This is not a
smart idea.
Not a stable job for the employees either.
People aren't doing well around these parts. We've introduced $5 coffee to ease their burden.
We got Chemex here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the good stuff.
We got a nitro cold brew in this place.
All of it.
All that stuff. You're gonna fucking love this stuff. It really is funny.
I mean, you know, being a small business owner is a little Christ-like.
Yeah, we're very committed to helping transform the downtowns and main streets in eastern Kentucky.
Just
Marietta
one.
said.
Just one.
Oh.
Get to she's talking like she's a franchisee owner already.
Well, they're trying. They want to
be there.
They want to be a really big coffee shop, like all the other very big, successful coffee shops.
Right.
There's one.
There's one.
There's one. There's not even two.
Pete's is two.
Pete's. Okay. Pete's ain't here though, man.
Pete's is hard to find. Like if there's a Pete's near you, it's like your special place to go, and it's still like a gigantic global corporation.
Yeah, when we were up in the Midwest, I was like, Caribou. I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, Caribou.
You know, because the one in my neighborhood closed.
They got chased
ago.
out of town.
Why they didn't get chased out of town? There's just two better coffee shops within like a half mile.
I call that chased out of town.
Yeah, I guess that's true. These are the worst kind of small business times.
I know.
They're yelling at people. They're probably scorching the fucking coffee. Well, they're probably not roasting the beans, right?
You never know.
They're probably scorching them.
Whenever you pretend like you got into your job for anything other than money, like you've lost me. You're being facetious.
Yeah.
You started making coffee to make fucking money.
Yeah. You want to make money. You wanted and then number two, you wanted a cool little place you can go hang around in all day.
Yeah.
But not really do any work because you hire a bunch.
You wanted to watch other people from a stool on the outside of the coffee preparation area. You just wanted to watch them and be like, they work for me. I'm so benevolent. I'm just letting them do it too. It's fucking great. People are banging down the door. They want to work for me. God, people want jobs and I'm providing them. I've got 1, 2 right there. There's 2 jobs I made.
There's one other person in there. She's sitting at a table with the owner is sitting at a table with a laptop open, and they're fucking in there on the internet and stuff. And then there's 2 employees standing behind a counter that she has
wiping stuff. Yeah,
just wiping the whole time. And then there's 2 other people in the store.
Yep.
It's like I have been to too many of these. They just go on.
There's no money in coffee like that.
I mean, you're not going to open a super highly successful coffee shop now. It's done.
Yeah, we've seen them.
Yeah. I mean, I like the fancy ones.
Yeah.
And I like to go, although they don't do large coffees, which is like, I don't like that.
I know that.
I like a large, man.
Yeah.
Motherfucker hand you 12 ounces of cold brew. I'm like, no. I want 23 ounces of cold
you got to order 2.
Yeah. I won't do that, though, because then that'll make me look like a maniac. But
you are a maniac. You just own it.
When the couple...
You should be like, hey, maniacs shop at this place, too, just so you know. I think 12 ounces is quite the ceiling to put on how much coffee you can get. I don't like that.
Plus carrying 2 cups. You know, I just want to carry 1 cup.
You want 1 big cup.
1 cup about, yay.
Okay.
That's what I get. I get a large cold brew at Starbucks.
What's a large?
I don't know.
What's the ounceage on a large?
It's a lot. But
you don't get Trenti or whatever it's called?
I would listen. I can't get Trenta.
You haven't got up to Trenta?
I'm not a Trenta guy.
You're not maniacal enough.
I don't want to be a guy that gets Trenta. You know?
That's surprising.
What? I don't have.
I feel like you would be proud of it. I feel like you'd be proud that you get Trenta.
I don't have one of those big refillable mugs that you take to the gas station so you can really fill up for 59 cents. Like, I was never a guy like that. I never had one of those, you know?
Okay.
I don't like to, get... it's like having a trough in front of you. Like, I don't want it to get too big. I want it to be big, you know?
Big, but not too big.
Yeah, there's, gets to be a point where a thing becomes fucking enormous.
So were you happy when Wendy's got rid of Biggie size?
No, I get mad about that though too.
Really?
Because I want a large drink when I go get a Wendy's or something. When I go get fast food, I want a large drink. I always go large, as I've said.
But do you agree with them dialing back the large size?
I mean, our listeners are going to be really mad and everything, but I think they should have the large size.
Oh, you're a liberal.
I worked with all these people.
What are you, Governor Cuomo?
No. I'm saying
the mayor of New York right now?
You should be able to have a large.
Okay.
I think you should be able to have a 2X. I think I fucking for over a decade I worked with people who brought an enormous cup from the gas station to work every day.
There's big bubbas.
A thing where you like have a handle so you can carry it like a bucket.
Yeah. KFC did buckets of soda for a while too, didn't they?
Yeah. And I want fucking people to, if that makes them feel good, I want them to be able to have a bucket. I just feel bad. I feel
it's not your
bad.
Sizing. Okay.
Yeah, it's all.
I just want to know where it's at. I just want to know what the range is.
Yeah.
Big is anybody that asks, but there is too big for you.
Yeah, big is. I think big is a good explanation. I want big for normal people, right? Like, so a guy like you go in there, you're going to get like a medium.
I have a medium.
Maybe even a small.
I do. If I'm feeling bad about myself.
Yes. I want more than you.
Okay.
You
just want to know that you had, what did that guy order? That guy right there. Little string bing fellow over there.
I want more than medium.
Okay.
That's all I want.
Got it.
I don't want infinitely more than medium.
Okay.
Like I don't want a gallon.
Got it.
I don't want to have a gallon of anything on me. You know? Not even just cold brew. Like a gallon of Mountain Dew is like, okay.
Gallon of iced tea I could get with.
No. I don't want to. You don't need it. Well, I mean, you do. I mean, if you want it, you can have it. That's the thing. I'm not a nanny state guy. I just think that we should be taking a look at how large these cups are getting.
Well, they did. They got rid of Biggie size.
Just marveling.
That's what I'm saying. They fucking got rid of Biggie size, dude.
Biggie size rock. Because there was Biggie.
Yeah.
There was a regular Biggie, and then there was Biggie size, which is such a fucking weird concept. Like, it's like a half thought up idea.
Yeah.
Biggie size.
Make that shit Biggie.
Yeah. But Biggie.
Biggie.
One Biggie up. A Biggie, like a Biggie, when they got rid of those huge cups at the fast food places, I remember being so like mad about it. That's the kind of thing I want to sit down and talk to liberals about. You know what I mean?
Like you took something away from us that we loved.
Well, I mean, that's what I want.
We love payday advances, and we love the largest fry possible.
The fry thing is ridiculous.
Fry Lover XL is around still.
They never have it.
They never have it in stock.
Never. Well, they're just like, we don't have that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think
make
they
enough.
Make two buckets of fries.
Yeah, 2 baskets.
You know what I mean? But McDonald's used to sell fries in a fucking bucket.
I gotta go.
Little bucket.
I have to go pee all over myself.
Okay, here's the deal. You're gonna go pee, then I'm gonna go pee, and then we're gonna finish.
Okay. Well, why don't we just finish the show?
Finish the show.
Yeah. I can hold it for a minute.
Yeah, we've done it.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Our ranting about payday advance and fry sizes.
Hey, you didn't have to hear a lot of coronavirus talk.
Yeah, who fuck that?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening and thanks for supporting what we do. We're Street Fight Radio. We will be back on Sunday night. We're taking your calls. If you want to talk to us about what fucked up things your work is doing. I was also shrooming a little bit during this, so I felt like I got caught up on my own words. So please accept my apology for not being on my best podcasting behavior. We did get a write-in from Aaron, who is a legal aid attorney. And what they said was basically that, like, the reason that most tenants won't accept partial rent is because legally it shows some sort of, like, it shows that you're willing to deal or that you're willing to make, like, some sort of concessions with the person. And in the eyes of the court, they're like, well, you took a partial rent. Like, why don't you just work this out?
So it's very anti.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but, you know, it's whatever.
Yeah, it's awful. Thanks for listening to Street Fight Radio. We'll see you later. I have to go pee my pants. Peace. Oh, God. Can you shut it off?
I don't know how to stop the stream.